Hi Myles, how's it going, man?
Very good. I'm excited. I'm stoked. Can't wait.
Where are we now?
I'm going to see some of the finest guitars played by absolute icons, and I think my friend Matt's in here, and he's going to show me around. So here we go. Let's rock.
So is this your promo press day with the Alter Bridge?
Yeah, this is the promoting the new record, Walk the Sky, and we're just out making the rounds.
How are you, buddy?
Brother, it's good to see you.
Good to see you. Welcome here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You finally made it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so we're going to show you some great guitars.
Right.
Yeah. I think that's your first time here.
It's my very first time. We met last year. Was it earlier this year?
Yeah, I think in Toulouse, south of France.
Yeah, that's right.
We brought some special guitars.
Some special guitars.
It's always like speedy and fast, you know.
Yeah.
Those gigs.
It was a gig. We were thrilled to have you out though, and really appreciate you taking the time. But inviting us to come and check.
Yeah,
out
that's
really we've been looking forward to this.
Yeah, we're blessed to have you guys here today. You know, so that's the shop, basically. I was talking about with you back then. So few guitars. So are you yourself like a vintage guitar addict?
Yeah, I started. It's something that took a while for me to get bit by the bug.
Okay.
I think my first. Well, I guess that's not true. I mean, I had a few pieces about 20 years ago that some mid '60s SG Juniors and 335 from around that area. But recently, it's gotten to be a bit of a.
Yeah.
I like to refer to it as an obsession, and my wife she just scratches her head and goes, "What are you doing? Why do you need this old guitar? Like, you don't understand. They have magic powers."
It has a vibe.
It has a vibe.
So I think you might have seen some of those before.
Yeah.
Maybe that gold top over there.
Yeah. I've seen that a few times. Know that guy.
Yeah, you know the guy.
I met that guy a few times.
And there is like you were talking about SG Juniors.
Yeah.
There is a 63 in factory black over there, and but I think we got some stuff special that you might love. So let's take a look.
There it is.
I put this one in the egg for you.
There it is. That's the one.
Yeah, the Jeff Buckley's Telecaster. So I saw like some videos of you on YouTube, like saying that Jeff Buckley is maybe one of the most important influence for you around the singing. Is it more for the voice or the guitar playing or both? Yeah.
Songwriting. Yeah, just his whole approach. Jeff came along at an interesting time, I guess, in my progression as a young musician, where, I loved so many different kinds of music.
Okay.
And but I just didn't know how to make it all work together. And he was one of the first people I saw who was able to combine so many different elements, so many different styles, and make it his own. And I remember thinking, wow, that's brilliant. And he served as a real guidepost in a lot of ways for me, and on a number of levels. But vocally, in particular, obviously, he had that angelic voice and that range, and ultimately the ability to emote like very few that I had heard up to that point, to this day, have ever heard. And,
I think he came in an era where singers were more shouting and powerful voice like Kurt Cobain.
Yeah, which is
and
great.
Those singers which are great, but he was really, the opposite of that.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that's what makes his influence special till today.
Yeah,
Still.
I think you're right. I think anytime an artist comes along when there's a status quo established, and then he kind of tips the apple cart.
Yeah.
He's that guy that all the rest of the artists go, well, where did that come from? How did he come up with that? And there was a book written, which I think the title of the book really sums up what Jeff was, and the book was called A Pure Drop.
Yeah.
And that's what he was.
Exactly.
He was pure, and it was unique to his personality and his artistic vision. And I think that music would be, or at least modern rock music would be, very different without his influence.
Yeah, I think so.
He
Yeah.
influenced a lot of bands, and a lot of us see something like this and just go, "Wow."
Yeah. So, what do you feel by seeing it in person?
It's interesting. That's a great question. I mean, you just kind of in awe of it first and foremost, because you know all the time that was spent
Yeah.
searching on that instrument, composing, and ultimately bringing millions of people joy, and helping change the trajectory of music as we know it. You know, there it is. I mean, where a lot of that happened.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of gravity in that, obviously.
Yeah, so that's why we prepared that for you, and I think we were talking like earlier with the like we call the VIP room over there.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
yeah, that's
All these bursts.
yeah.
Oh.
As a vintage addict, we can't wait to see your reaction with those guitars. So that's from the left to the right. That's Paul Kossoff's Eric Clapton, 1955 Black Beauty. That's your friend Dangerous Dan Toller, Dickie Betts 58. That one is really special for us. It's T-Bone Walker's ES5. So that's like the discover of like even Jimi Hendrix is God from what we can know about it. That 59 you played it earlier, I think, which like Spot the real deal, and a 60. So. So I think that's like the best room of the shop. You got the wall over there. There is like Malcolm Young's guitar, which is like a weird Gibson L6S.
Right. Oh, is that Bellamy's?
That's one Manson that he you know. I think it's a regular run model, but it's like with the. I think they call it with the pad,
the pad,
like the weird thing, but you can do really great stuff with it. So that's, if you had to choose like one or two guitar, what would be your favorite one? Interesting.
That's a really good question.
Art creation,
It's a really good question. I will say I have it. Is that a 58?
That's 58, yeah.
I do have a thing for 58s. A lot of people love 59s. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love a 59. But there's something about the neck dimensions on a 58 that I really like. And the fact that Dangerous Dan owned that guitar. Now, Dan, Mark and I both met Dan in the latter part of his life. And he was doing some things with PRS. And he kind of took us both under his wing. He actually came up and played during an Alter Bridge set, which was really cool.
Wow.
He was just a really good guy and would give us advice. And so to see his guitar here, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome.
Do you want to plug that in?
I would
quick?
love to.
Yeah, pick it up.
Let's do it. Oh man.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a question. I mean, obviously being not only an amazing singer, but amazing guitarist yourself, how can you explain the fact that an object can have so much in it, so much magic and vibe or whatever?
Mojo. It's that mojo.
Yeah, mojo.
It's the idea, just like I was talking about with Jeff's guitar, it's the idea that so much has taken place during the years that this guitar has been on the planet. So much blood, sweat, and tears, and so much, I think the thing that I always think of is how much joy was brought to people.
Yeah, exactly.
It's almost like that becomes this, I don't know, this tangible thing. It's like a joy bank.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's just full of
priceless.
good vibes and powerful vibes, and so I think often I think that's the allure of vintage guitars.
Yeah.
And that's something that a lot of people don't necessarily understand. To them, it's just like, well, that's just an old piece of wood with some string. You can get a reproduction of that for a fraction of the price. Yeah, but you can't get the magic. And the other thing that there's the argument about how much when a guitar is played and wood resonates. I don't know if this is true or not, but I guess there was something years ago, some sort of study that showed that it slowly changes the molecular structure,
of course,
within, and so that's why it sounds the way it does. And I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I'm a musician, but
I think everybody wants to hear Myles playing that guitar.
All right. Let's do
Yeah.
Magic. It's all there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, got it.
It's all there. Wow.
So how do you come about composing? Do you actually think of the voice melodies first, or jam it on the guitar, or like?
Usually the guitar first. Usually, you just kind of come across a sequence of chords that, for whatever reason, kind of instructs where you think the melody would go. But once in a while, there'll be a melody that will. I dreamed one once, and then it went from there. It was a melody to a song that we do with Slash and the Spirit. Called "Standing in the Sun," and I dreamed it, and I woke up and I was like, and I was like, and I put the chords to it, and we were off. Actually, those aren't the right chords. It's been so long since because normally I just sing it anymore, and the band plays the chord progression.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really depends. There's just a number of different ways to where you can, reach your goal. But I'd say 9 times out of 10, you start with the chord progression.
So you jam the guitar parts first, and then think of the voice melody that you're going to put on top of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And do you compose most of your stuff like when you're on tour, or is it more at home, or a bit of both?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
I'm kind of always composing. Unless I just finished a record, and then I like to. It's been great because since we finished the Alter Bridge record, I've been in kind of guitar geek mode and going back to wanting to learn guitar licks and lead guitar. I love playing lead guitar and improvising, but when it comes time to do a record, it's at home, in hotel rooms, in the dressing room, and just always trying to kind of keep my mind open to any sort of ideas.
Yeah.
And it's a full-time gig for sure. Songwriter.
So finally, what are your stage weapons when you're on stage? Is that like PRS still, or are you sometimes playing like for the vintage aficionados, like vintage guitar on stage, or it's like mainly
the PRSs.
Okay.
So PRS has been with Alter Bridge our go-to for 15 years. And I started playing PRS earlier than that, back in the Mayfield 4 days as well. I had a McCarty that was really awesome. But I've also, on the solo record, in the Year of the Tiger, I started integrating a bunch of different guitars, Gibsons. Most of the acoustics I was playing were like Gibsons, and that whole record was written on a old Gibson Banner, which I think you have one here, if I'm not mistaken. I thought I saw one. That's not that one. Oh, there's a Banner over there.
Oh yeah,
Banners are great. I love Gibson.
Yeah, the LG2 you mean? Yeah, it's great.
So Gibsons, Gretsches, Fenders. I was a Tele guy a lot in the 90s. I had a few Telecasters that I would bring up on stage, but the thing about, as you know, each guitar kind of has its own personality. Each brand kind of has a thing that it does and will kind of influence you as a writer, as an improviser. And so as a songwriter, I've come to rely on that more as opposed to sticking to one thing, because I feel like it just makes the songs, like the whole last Alter Bridge record, was written on a Telecaster, believe it or not. I mean, as far as what I brought in, even all the heavy riffs were, because that's all I had on the road it's a Highway 1 Telecaster. They used to make them back in the early 2000s, and they were just like very inexpensive Teles you get, but they had the nitrocellulose finish.
Oh, yeah.
So it has that, it resonates the way I like it to. And a big baseball. I changed the neck out on it, so I have a 50, like a 50
the 50s neck,
like the big. I think that's why I like the 58s. It's not massive, but I feel like it's just for my hand.
It also has like a different angle, because the Gibson changed the angle between the neck and the body in 59. So I think the profile of the neck, and for me the neck personally, I think gives maybe 70% of the guitar tone. If you have a massive neck, you would get like a big projection and a big resonation. And if you have like a skinnier neck, you will get more like the SG sound even on the Les Paul. So the neck is very important. So
yeah, a lot of people miss that. I think a lot of people assume it's all in the body, and a lot, you know, and rightly so, that it's strictly the pickups. But it's that relationship with all of the parts, and so yeah, these necks I'm particularly fond of. Did you say they also changed? Did they change the radius by any chance in '59, or is it?
I'm not sure about it, but for sure they changed the angle of the neck, which makes for me huge difference. It worked, and it gives to Les Pauls a certain personality.
Right.
I think the 335 and those hollow body are quite better in 59s because of the neck.
Yeah, those
but on the Les Paul it gives them something much woodier and. Center tone, you know, it's very different if you plug that 59 over there.
Right.
So, but this one is like legendary. It's probably we can't really be sure. We are sure that Dickie Betts gave that guitar to Dan, but when you play the Allman Brothers riff on it, it's like, you know, it has it. So, a lot of people are pretty sure it's the live at Fillmore East Les Paul. You know,
so awesome.
So yeah, that's a great one, yeah, for sure.
That's really amazing.
It's, and I saw you like playing earlier acoustic with Mark, some of the new album.
Yeah.
So you guys are always playing on different open tuning or drop C or
drop C. Yeah, we've always incorporated the open tuning in the compositions. It kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier with mixing up the guitar brand and model. It'll kind of inform you in a different way. So, yeah, open tunings. I mean, we both got that from Jimmy Page, ultimately. And there was also a band I toured with in the Mayfield 4 back in the late 90s called, if you haven't heard of them, you got to check them out. They're called Big Wreck. Canadian band. And Ian would show me. And Ian, it's funny, Ian, one day I was doing a track on their second record. I flew down to LA to record it. And I was writing the next, I was writing the next Mayfield 4 record. This was like late 90s. And I played this one song called, it's called Lila. And I was like, where did that song go? So it was like kind of a really Zeppelin-esque thing. And it was in standard tuning or half step down. And Ian's like, dude, why don't you just put that in open G? I was like, open G? He's like, yeah, you know, and then he showed it to me, and we were kind of off to the races. So Ian definitely opened my mind to the world of altered tunings as well. And I think Mark got a lot of it from a band called the Tea Party. They're another Canadian. It's those Canadians and their open tunings.
Okay, great.
But yeah, so yeah, it's just any way that will ultimately inspire you to come up with an idea that's, I guess, a little different than what you normally would do. You know, we're open to it.
Yeah, of course, because I saw that even the arpeggios and the riff you're making are really, in those tunings, it's really making sense actually. It sounds amazing, and for instance, sometimes it gives, you know, a huge sound maybe you need on stage, especially with high gain or medium gain.
It gives there's a drone that happens. There's because you have those strings that constantly ring out, and so what happens is that certain notes start to kind of, they don't fight with each other. They just create a unique harmonic picture. And so alter tunings rule.
So so I think we are going to see you soon in Paris in a few months.
We're coming back. An important venue too, where Jeff did a live recording.
And for Jeff, the best performance of his career was at the Olympia. And that's where for French people they used to record Edith Piaf, etc. So so that will be a pleasure to see you. Maybe with a Gibson or Jeff Tilley on stage, who knows?
Oh, that would be great. I would love that. Bring either one of these guitars, and I'd be thrilled.
Oh, we can bring a lot of guitars. Thank you, Myles.
Yeah, thank you so much, man.
It was good to see you.
Great to see you as well.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Death Crunch.
I'm really impressed that you're right.
It really does that bite, that bark. That's just kind of what I did when I was a kid. I used to draw ends in school and go
Like Josephine.
I bet you $10 I'll draw ends faster than you in school. And if you do the gallops on paper, it's
And that's how I buy my first amp.
yeah. Yeah, this is a special burst, man. I played a few of them,
Yeah.
and every time I'm like, yeah, I dig it, but I don't love it. I definitely would not spend $400,000 on it. This one's odd. This is probably my favorite one. I love the tone of it. I played Joe Bonamassa on. He came through tour, and he was showing me his rig and all his guitars. He handed me, he had the 2 Fender high-powered Tweed Twins and the Bassman set up, and I did the same thing. I picked up, I did some gallops, and he's like, I was like, sorry to completely play something different on your rig. He's like, dude, that's badass.
So how do you come about composing your stuff? Do you write most of it on the road?
Yeah, I'll just, either at home or on the road. It's hotel rooms.
Record it on your phone, for example?
Yeah, I've got a billion ideas on my phone, my laptop. If I really want an idea to stick, I'll put it on my laptop and I'll organize it. A lot of times I'll just throw on a drum beat and just hammer away at the guitar.
And how do you get to work on the songs with Myles? How do you fit in?
I will, on this record, I just wrote my songs, he wrote his songs, and we just helped one another finish the final touches on them. But usually I'll write a part, I'll say I got a riff for you, I got a chorus, here's a chorus for you, you got a verse, and we put songs together like puzzles. So,
does he write some of the stuff on the guitar as well? Or is it
mainly like you will never guess, like I'll write vocal stuff,
oh yeah?
he'll write guitar stuff.
Oh cool.
We write complete ideas on our own. So,
oh okay.
Say it's a chorus, I'll write the music, the melodies, the lyrics, all the good stuff. And then I'll say, you got something to go with this, and he'll write his parts, and then we'll pop them together. A lot of times the lyrics will have to change to fit within different parts. But I was always pissed for all the years that people considered me a guitar player. I'm like, yeah, I play guitar, but I'm
a vocalist as well.
Just because I'm not singing doesn't mean I didn't write these vocal parts. That's my main thing. I don't care half as much about the guitar playing as I do the vocal parts. So
it's all about the songwriting.
For years, it was like, oh, you're not the singer. You must not have written those parts. Like back in the early Creed days and stuff. You're just a guitar player. No, I'm a songwriter. That's my main thing. If I was just a guitar player, I'd be a lot better than I am now. You see a lot of guitar players that are just insanely talented, but a lot of those guys, you don't necessarily think of them as songwriters. They're just burning guitar players.
And do you have a particular scheme, workflow that works for you? Would you like first find the riff on the guitar and then put vocals on top of it, or will you be singing in your shower and then find a riff that goes with that? Or
it's happened all different ways. I remember being in college and the song, this song. I wrote it all in my head. The whole that whole thing was in my head. And my teachers, that was a tough course. It was business calculus. And the songs in my head, I'm like, I should be listening to my teacher, but I can't forget this song. As soon as they let out class, I got in my car, raced home, got on my guitar, and recorded it, and it became
cool.
It became our second single off of the first record we put out. So
what age were you then?
I was 19, maybe. Yeah. So you never know what's going to come. A lot of times I'll just I teach people like some songwriting stuff, and I'll say, here, one thing you can do is find some sort of style, some sort of repetitive thing like this. So I'll do, just get that going and just put your fingers anywhere. Don't worry about theory, don't worry about nothing. rather do something like that than just go. Playing it safe and doing campfire chords. That works too, but I'd rather hear. I like those sour notes because those sour notes sometimes turn into those, wow, that's like such a cool, weird, awkward thing, but it's beautifully awkward. You know?
Yeah, sort of like tension and release kind of thing.
Or tuning the guitar completely in an odd tuning and doing like, I want to bow the neck of it down.
Yeah, it seems like you're like doing the bass line at the same time as the guitar line.
Yeah, like especially if you go to like.
So what's that you're tuning up to then?
I'm tuning to open D5, forgetting about theory and chord shapes and scale shapes. Just looking at your right hand and doing, like I said, that say you're just going, putting your fingers in random spots. So immediately I go, I liked what just happened. I liked it.